Hi, welcome to the Libertarian Alternative. My name is Mark Selzer. We're here at the Minnesota Libertarian Party Convention shooting today, and our guest is Michael Badnarik, the former presidential candidate of the Libertarian Party. Hi, Michael.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks for coming out.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
So, you ran for President of the United States.
I did. I'm a little bit surprised to have won the nomination, but I'm very honored to have been allowed to represent the Libertarian Party in the election. And we worked very hard. The Libertarian Party came together to stand behind the campaign. We were on the ballot in 48 states. We raised $1 million by Election Day, and I went from obscurity at the convention to winning 400,000 votes nationwide. So I consider that a very, very successful campaign.
A very short period of time with absolutely no help from the media, almost no help
Almost
whatsoever.
no help from the media.
So why do you think the media is so shy about libertarian candidates?
I think one of the reasons they don't want our candidates on the air in the debates is because our message would resonate with most Americans. We believe in fiscal responsibility, and we are socially liberal and tolerant, and most Americans really do resonate with the libertarian message. And the media doesn't want our message heard because we would earn a significant percentage in the voting.
Right, rock the boat.
We would rock the boat.
Now we've been able to do that more so on the local level, getting a lot of local libertarians elected. And did you meet some of these people and campaign with them across the United States on your campaign?
And one of my responsibilities as the presidential candidate is to bring my media attention to the local races. People say, well, we really can't win at the presidential level. Well, my job is to use the media attention of a presidential campaign to advertise for all of the libertarians down ticket.
Right.
And so as we went from state to state, and we visited 42 states along the way, and we tried to interact with as many local affiliates as possible, and wherever possible, I would appear with the local candidates and explain the libertarian position and indicate that, perhaps you're not willing to vote for a libertarian presidential candidate, but if you do believe in the libertarian philosophy, you can vote for, the city councilman or the state legislator. And
we're winning more of those.
And we are winning more of those. There's a gentleman, I don't remember his last name. His name is Ed. He won running as a libertarian in, I believe, Dade County, Georgia. And I attended the Georgia Libertarian Convention, and he was telling all the wonderful things that he has already done to save the people of Dade County, Georgia money in the process. It was a very, very interesting story.
Yeah, we have a sheriff in Telluride, Colorado. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But he's wonderful, and he's been reelected about 3 times, I believe, as a libertarian, with 80% of the vote. And this is actually a partisan election, and it does say libertarian, not Republican or Democrat, after his name on the ballot. And in more places, we're seeing this. We're seeing people be elected in partisan roles as libertarians, and we're seeing more and more on the local level. But the press and your opponents always make a big deal out of it if you're registered to vote as a libertarian and you have any chance of winning.
Right.
So it's never kept as a secret either. So we have about 600 elected libertarians across the United States right now, and I'm sure there's many more that have been appointed as well. But our foot's in the door.
We are making a difference. We are saving people money. They are recognizing that liberty and prosperity actually go hand in hand. And I think the libertarian movement is growing, and I think that it's just a matter of time before we finally see a libertarian in Congress.
Yeah, well, I hope so. But these people have to be underneath thousands of elected libertarians on the local level. That's where we really, I think, have to be going, and people are willing to learn about us there
Right.
first. First to see the city council, then the state assemblyman, and then maybe someday a president of the United States. We will see.
True, but running a presidential campaign is the cheapest advertising that all of the libertarians can do. If you have a bicycle, you need both wheels. And so we need a presidential candidate to bring attention to the local candidates, and you need the local candidates to run and shake hands and win the elections.
So of course, you were touring across the country talking to various groups of people about how libertarianism could appeal to them. So let's go over some of those groups. Let's say, why, for instance, would a Democrat want to vote libertarian?
Well, Democrats are very much like libertarians on social issues. They believe that, if you are doing something that doesn't offend someone else, then you should be allowed to do that. They are more liberal where it comes to drugs. They are more liberal when it comes to sexual orientation and the type of literature and what the definition of pornography is. I mean, it's kind of an individual thing.
Right.
And so they respond in the social areas where libertarians believe that each person should make their own choice in those areas.
And also, I think Democrats are very much for lowering taxes on the little guy, about helping the small businessmen and things like that. I always say, well, if the Republicans were really serious about lowering taxes, they would lower taxes on the poor first, eliminate taxes that poor people have to pay, and small business owners. That way the Democrats wouldn't object. They'd say, great, we'll do that, no problem, I'll vote for that too.
Right.
So what about Republicans? Why would they want to vote libertarian?
Well, Republicans in general tend to be fiscally conservative. They claim that they want smaller government. They claim that they want lower taxes in general. And libertarians not only say that, but we would actually accomplish that.
No excuses.
No excuses. And in many of the places where we've had libertarians elected, we have actually reduced the size of government in many ways.
Yes. In fact, there was a city council in a small town. The name has since escaped me, but the first thing the libertarians did when they got a majority there was to eliminate the salaries for all the people on the city council and the mayor. So they were no longer getting paid, no longer taking money from the taxpayers. And, that's the idea. Now, what about Christians? Why would Christians want to vote libertarian?
Well, libertarians believe in freedom of religion. And we don't have a particular religion. Libertarians can be Christian, they can be atheist, they can be Baptist or Muslim. And we understand that religion is a personal, individual thing, and we want to make sure that the government doesn't come in and control your religion. We want to make sure that your religion stays a religion and not some government-controlled organization.
Definitely. Now, what about Muslims? They're a smaller group of people than Christians, but why would Muslims want to vote?
Well, Muslims are actually very conscious about government. In the 2000 election, Muslims chose to support George Bush in the election.
Really?
And there are an estimated 6 million Muslims in the United States. Well, after September 11th, with all of the terrorism scares, there are countless stories where Muslims and people that happen to dress like that or have a particular religion have been specifically harassed by the government. Because you happen to look
now, Muslims
a certain way.
Have been polled and they did support George Bush in the last election? Really?
Yes. And so in the 2004 election, they were specifically looking to support someone other than George Bush because of the hostility and the suspicion that has been